Hello, everyone. I'm Dalton Burdett,
I'm Nick Ericchio.
and we are the Movie Nights.
Well, some of them.
If you're watching this because you want to hear our uncensored
Unfiltered.
thoughts and opinions of the world of movies and entertainment, so kick back
Relax.
and thank you for being part of the conversation. Guys, it's the Movie Nights Roundtable. We're live again on By the way, if my audio is too loud, too soft, I messed with my settings a little bit, so I want to make sure that everything is good. Speaking of the live chat, please throw some stuff in there, and while we're talking in between topics, I'll pop up your chats right here on the screen like so. And if you do a super chat, don't feel obliged to, we will obviously prioritize those. We have a really fun show for you guys. We got a ton of movie news stories to talk about, a bunch of movie reviews to do out of pure laziness. And Nicholas, how are you?
I'm good, buddy. It's nice to be doing the show back again. We got some very exciting topics to talk about. Definitely nothing controversial, which is super
No,
nice. We're going to have a very nice, easy show with no extreme topics.
not at all. Not at all.
And we have some fun movie reviews, which will be. I think we do have a little bit of a disagreement on some of them, so that'll be interesting.
Perhaps.
Perhaps,
One thing I do
perchance.
want to, you can't just say perchance. One thing that I briefly want to touch upon is the fact that if you're thinking, oh, they're doing reviews, so we're finally going to get reviews for Caught Stealing, Conjuring 4, movies of that week. Nope. Those are gone. Those are dead, gone, and past us quickly. I really liked Caught Stealing. I thought Conjuring 4 was better than 3. There you go. They've been reviewed.
I second Dalton's take.
Trying to catch up on those has been crazy. So there we are, and there we go. Obviously, we don't want to waste any more time. Let's dive into this week's top stories. This first story is a follow-up on something that we've talked about often on the show, and that is this. The Social Network, which was directed by David Fincher and written by the amazing Aaron Sorkin. A sequel is in the works, which is going to be written and directed by Aaron Sorkin. It was kind of a loose sequel as it's being described. There are going to be some changes going on. David Fincher's not coming back to direct, but what's it going to be doing? It's going to be following Facebook, during the election cycles and how the misinformation stuff, dealing with the fallout of that. Well, not only did we get confirmations of a new title, we also got confirmation of a major casting shakeup, which was rumored that we reported a long time ago. Let's go to Variety here. The Social Network follow-up sets 2026 release date and official title, The Social Reckoning, Part 1. That's not true, but that would be funny. Let's see here. Academy Award winner Aaron Sorkin's follow-up to The Social Network is now officially titled The Social Reckoning and will hit theaters October 9th, 2026, Sony Pictures announced on Friday. Oscar winner Mikey Madison from Anora and Golden Globe and Emmy Award winner Jeremy Allen White and Grammy nominee Bill Burr, there you go, and Oscar nominee Jeremy Strong will star in The Social Network. And here's the big news. Strong confirmed to be playing Mark Zuckerberg. It is official. He will be replacing Jesse Eisenberg in the role. And when we were kind of talking about this last time when this was rumored, I was like, listen, if you can't get Jesse back, Jeremy Strong's a great actor, I'm sure he's going to knock this out of the park. That's no question. But why try to make it a sequel to The Social Network and just call it something completely different? And at that time we were like, don't call it Social Network 2. Social Reckoning is still pretty fucking close. That's still really close to where I'm like, all right, I don't love that it's called The Social Reckoning. It could have been called something else. But listen, if the movie's great, I'm there. We know the script's going to be great. I've liked Aaron Sorkin's directorial efforts that I've seen. Of course, it's not on the same level as a David Fincher. However, he is trapped in Netflix's paradigm basement. So, it's going to be hard to get him out. But, Nick, you hear this news. You hear that it's coming out right at the start of Oscar season next year, that it has Mikey Madison, Jeremy Allen White, Bill Burr, and Jeremy Strong. What are your thoughts when you hear this, and do you think these are good moves?
My first thought is that they're probably going to have to update Golden Globe and Emmy nominee or winner Jeremy Allen White to Oscar nominee Jeremy Allen White with
Probably.
his biopic coming out. Did you see the clip that the clip that came out of him singing Border Run?
Yes.
I don't know how the hell he got his voice to be like that, but good lord. I've never actually seen Social Network. I'll be entirely
We
honest, and
keep
I've talked
talking about this. I
we keep
keep
talking
forgetting
about,
until you bring it up every single time.
you know,
God damn it.
But I mean, listen, I think Jeremy Strong's an excellent actor. He's going to absolutely knock the role out of the park. So and I'm sure Jesse Eisenberg did as well. I think he's a terrific actor in his own right. But you have Mikey Madison, who was absolutely incredible in Anora. Like, my God. And I think Jeremy Allen White is fantastic in The Bear. He's going to be great, I think, in the Bruce Springsteen biopic. And also, let's not forget, he's Rhoda the Hutt in Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yes, that's right.
So he's got two big movies coming out. I don't disagree with you with the title. I'm trying to remember what the actual, because it's based off of the Wall Street Journal article.
Yes.
About it. I'm trying to remember what that article was called. I wonder if there's something they could have just pulled, because they're really just making it about the article, but it just happens to be written and made by the guy that made The Social Network. So I think that's just really what they're banking on. If he wasn't attached, I don't think it would have had the same tout as being like a Social Network sequel. I think Aaron Sorkin's involvement in it is what's pushing that narrative. And I think the article even calls it like a companion piece. So I think that makes sense. The weird part to me, though, is, did I read somewhere that Bill Burr's character is just made up?
That is true. It's a completely fictional character.
Which seems odd.
It seems odd when it's flat out said, but several biopic type movies have done this. Like it's a very common thing to do. Margot Robbie's character was made up in Bombshell. I know that was
just
one.
About to say.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking of. That's fair. Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, yes, it seems weird, especially when you just know what the character's going to be.
Yeah, it's just going to be some guy from Boston.
Yeah, it's just Bill Burr walking around the Facebook campus. Oh, what the fuck is this? What the hell are these goggles you got on?
Every time I see a thing of Bill Burr being on a movie that's being taken very seriously, I remember a story he tells about being on the set of The Frontrunner. That was the Jason Reitman movie with Hugh Jackman. Mm-hmm. And he said he had a scene with Hugh Jackman and he was nervous because he doesn't really consider himself a real actor. And he did a scene with Hugh Jackman and he had to confront Hugh Jackman. And he said in one of the takes, Hugh Jackman turned at him really quickly and kind of got in his face. And he said, in that moment, I went, "Oh fuck, that's Wolverine," and I dropped my notepad. and then during the in between scenes, the Jason Reitman was like, "Wow, excellent choice dropping your notepad." And I was like, "It wasn't a choice. He just scared the shit out of me." So I can't wait for things like that.
Has truth in it,
Yeah. And usually going back to making up a character, typically, and I don't know what this movie's reason for it is, but typically when you do something like that, it's so that you can take a ton of stuff that happened to several people, and narratively it's easier to do them to one person. So it's just we're going to have this person be a surrogate for these real events that happened, but for the purposes of our story, it's easier if this is all represented by one thing. So I assume it's going to be something like that.
I mean, listen, Aaron, yes, I think that makes sense. And I think it's also a great way to have a gateway to the audience in it. Similar with Margot Robbie. Mm-hmm. Margot Robbie was as an audience member into that world. So maybe that's kind of what Bill Burr's kind of role is going to be playing into it. But I mean, Aaron Sorkin, the writer, has me more excited than Aaron Sorkin, the director. Fair. I'll be upfront with that. However, I mean, I loved All Around. I thought The Trial of the Chicago 7 was an excellent film. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen Molly's Game, but I thought Being the Ricardos was kind of flat, personally.
So I never saw Being the Ricardos, but I really like Molly's Game. So there's
well,
that.
Maybe he is a hit. Maybe it's something to be excited, but we'll see.
No, of course. So before we move on to our next topic here, we got a couple things in the live chat going on. Samar is here. He says, "What the fuck is up, OGs?" Hello, Samar. Thank you for being here. Hannah, once again, being shocked that you've never seen The Social Network. Me too. We're going to get on that.
I tried to watch it on a cruise. It was the midnight movie.
Horrible idea.
I fell asleep. No. Do you want to know what a worse idea was? Do you know what? So that was the midnight movie on this cruise. And I fell asleep because I was like a teenager. And I was tired all the time. I still am. The other movies I went, the movie had like an actual like auditorium theater that you can go watch movies that they were just playing all day.
Mhm.
I watched Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time.
With Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yes, I watched that in its entirety on a cruise ship. And then the other one that I tried to watch, and then I got seasick, which I never do, just trying to follow everything that was happening, was Inception. I had to leave like a third of the way into Inception on a cruise ship because I was just getting nauseous. And then I didn't watch it until we became roommates.
I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to stop watching shit on cruises.
I really do.
Anna adds, disrespecting the Social Network 1, watching on a cruise 2 at midnight 3. Oh, that's great. But before we move on, Samar in the live chat actually has a filmmaking question. I will stop whatever I'm doing to answer filmmaking questions, Samar. So I got you. Let's go. Let's do it here. So it says, I'd like to ask y'all about this because I've been thinking about it for a couple of days. When you're doing a script, how do you know how long you should make it? Like, should I just write till you don't know what to do anymore? Got to think of its page number from the beginning. Like, oh, I got to write 90-page long script. That is an excellent question. It's a question that's not asked enough. So when you're writing a script, typically the rule of thumb is similar to what you pointed out. And it's typically about a minute per page. Like one page is about a minute of screen time. Now, with that being said, that is an average from the films that Nick and I have worked on together. I can personally tell you, I've had one-page scenes that are 3 minutes. I've had one-page scenes that are 15 seconds. It all depends on what is going on in that one scene. If you're doing like quick, quippy dialogue, that scene's going to be way less than a minute. If it's a slow, dramatic scene with a lot of pauses, a lot of camera movements, it's going to be a longer minute. So typically a good rule of thumb is about a page per minute. But my suggestion, and this is, it depends on how everyone works, just write until you feel like you're done. Look at how many pages it is, and if it's feature length, great. Go back, start editing your script again. What I always tell people, never, ever, ever edit while you write. Just start until you finish, and then go back and make edits. Because if you edit while you write, you'll never get done. You're like Matt Reeves, taking 8 years to write Batman Part 2. You don't want that. You want to be able to just, even if you're writing this and you're like, this is absolute dog shit, just keep writing it until you finish draft 1, then go back and start making edits. You can make like separate notes on like a thing of like, oh, this is a change I'm going to make. This is a change I'm going to make. I'm going to do this. But don't start editing while you're writing, or else you get lost in the sauce. It's a big, big, long thing. Hannah also throwing out, and they were roommates. Thank you. And Samar also adds, Prince of Persia is a movie out of this world. Good. Dude, it's been so long since I've seen Prince of Persia. I would have to go back and rewatch it. But I remember people not loving it. I feel like that might be a hot take. Yeah, I remember people not loving it, but who knows? I'd have to rewatch it.
I'm going to look up the letterbox curve real quick, because now I'm curious.
Yeah, go ahead. Samar says, appreciate you. No problem at all. I'll answer filmmaking questions any day.
Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time has an average letterboxd rating of 2.6.
It's not great, but that's not like horrific.
I forgot that Alfred Molina was in it.
Listen, it was very interesting. That was like 2000. It was either late 2000s or early 2010s. What year was that?
Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, 2010.
Yeah, so right at 2010. Okay. Yeah. Interesting point in film history. Anyway, guys, what do you think of The Social Reckoning and Jeremy Strong replacing Mark Zuckerberg? Are you excited? Are you worried about it? Let us know in the comments as we move on to our next news topic story. And this story is kind of fascinating, I think is an appropriate word for this story. I want everyone to take a look at this young woman here. You see this young woman, and you think, oh, wow, that's a young woman. Clearly. She is not. That is a fucking fake woman. And you're probably like, why are we doing this as a story? This doesn't make any sense. Oh, but it does. That is an AI actress named Tilly Norwood. And I don't know where they've come from, how they came about, but several Hollywood agencies, talent acting agencies, are thinking about signing, in quotations for our audio listeners, signing Tilly Norwood to their agency. Pause for dramatic effect. That is fucking ridiculous. And SAG-AFTRA, obviously, is not thrilled about this. And new SAG-AFTRA president, Sean Astin, had some things to say. So let's take this over to Variety. As AI performer Tilly Norwood continues to spark debate about the intersection of Hollywood and technology, the new president of the Actors Union is doubling down on its protection for members. Sean Astin, star of Rudy and the just-elected leader of SAG-AFTRA, spoke to Variety about the global curiosity over Norwood. She's the creation of a company called Particle 6, which caused uproar in late September when leadership said notable talent and agencies were interested in representing her for film, work, and TV. Here is his quote, Sean Astin's. I appreciate that the story has captured the imagination of people, but it's not the first shoe to drop. We had a 118-day strike, fighting very hard to put AI provisions and protections in place. The teams at SAG-AFTRA have been in this fight for longer than people might realize. As technology continues to advance at light speed, we're going to meet that challenge. He goes on to say, our agreement with ATA is very important, and we look forward to healthy, conscious, constructive conversations with agencies to make sure that we continue to help each other. We performers rely on our agents' judgment and then good work and their sincerity, and they rely on our talent and marketability. The real issue at play is how our work is exhibited and what kinds of permissions and compensations we get for its use. Sorry, that was a lengthy thing to read. However, I think it's very important. Hannah aptly points out that this is the bad place. I agree completely. So, a couple things on this. I know when it comes to AI and movie, like people are expecting me to just lose my shit and freak out about it. This is so stupid that I'm just like, there's no point in freaking out. Honestly, part of me thinks that this is some sort of stunt. Like, part of me thinks that this whole story just happened because someone was bored and they were like, let's just piss a bunch of people off and see what happens. And then, and it just threw this out there. It almost seems too dumb to be realistic. You know, it's kind of like when you watch every Terminator sequel and they're like, no, I think we're going to revive Skynet. You're just like, why? I feel like enough shit has happened where you shouldn't do that. But yeah, obviously I hate this idea. And I actually saw a really great tweet. I'm not going to give the user credit because I don't remember them. Like, I just saw it and I lost it in the sphere of refreshing. But basically this tweet said, because I think Tilly Norwood is like, she's obviously portrayed as like a really young actor. And I saw this tweet that said, the reason why talent agencies want to sign Tilly Norwood is because they finally are able to control young women again. They just have to be fake this time. And I was like, ooh, that kind of tracks.
Yikes.
But it's just one of these things that's just like, I don't... Just why? Just why? And Sean Astin was very, noble and gracious about it, where he's just like, look, we just want to make sure that we're properly compensated for how our images are used. And that's true, because if you recall, during the strike, they wanted to scan background actors, pay them for 1 day of work, and then use their likeness in perpetuity in the backgrounds of things forever, which is fucked up. There's no way that was going to happen. And so obviously SAG-AFTRA is going to fight to prevent that. The reason why I'm not freaking out more is because I don't foresee this going anywhere. I really don't. Now, if we have to cover a story that that she, in quotations mark, the clanker, has been cast in an upcoming movie, then you might see me get a little fucking angry and pissed off about that. But for now, it's so ridiculous that I'm not even going to really let it infect my mind more than it already has. Nick, I'm throwing it over to you. What do you think about this?
Well, I think the idea of having an AI-generated actress taking leads in movies away from full actors, I think is bad. And it's very exciting to see, Sean Astin coming out and being so outspoken, and tons of other actors. We just got over a strike. Hollywood is still deeply feeling the ramifications of COVID, and then still COVID, and then going into the strikes on top of that. And the whole strikes being the basis around AI being the biggest touch point. So it sucks to see that coming through it. What I am choosing to believe, or what I would like to believe at least, is because I do think that I think that AI has its place, and I think the tool making capabilities of AI are very interesting and very exciting and fresh, and what they can do maybe potentially behind the scenes, especially from like a film production standpoint, not filmmaking, not editing, not anything like that. But we had that movie Fall that came out where they used the AI to change it from R to PG-13. Like, I think that's a very interesting way to utilize it, especially when you have movies that need to get censored when they go on to cable and broadcast. I choose to believe this is a way of agencies wanting to kind of play ball because of the greater implication of it. Like, she was created by an AI agency who's always cutting edge, developing new AI tools, and they just happen to make Tilly. So I think it's a way of just wanting to get in with a very up and coming, fresh, new, cutting edge AI firm. And I think it's kind of the way of just playing ball with that. And the person who made her, what was her name? I just pulled it up here. Whatever it is, she had released a statement, if you wanted me to read that, which I thought was interesting.
No, if you have it, go ahead.
She said, "To those who have expressed anger over the creation of my AI character, Tilly Norwood, she is not a replacement for a human being, but a creative work, a piece of art. Like many forms of art before her, she sparks conversation, and that in itself shows the power of creativity. I see AI not as a replacement for people, but as a new tool, a new paintbrush, just as animation, puppetry, or CGI open fresh possibilities without taking away from live acting. AI offers another way to imagine and build stories. I'm an actor myself, and nothing, certainly not an AI character, can take away the craft or joy of human performance."
It's a lovely statement, but you've literally created an actor. like,
yes, but I think that was her way of saying that this was just like, it's not going to be that. Like, maybe there's just going to be fully AI generated stories with Tilly in an animation medium, let's call it, versus I'm watching Nosferatu 2, but now Tilly Norwood is acting opposite whatever that Bill Skarsgård. I don't know why Nosferatu 2 is what came to mind first, but
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu.
So
like,
me,
I don't think that's where this is heading.
No, my pushback to that would be, we're talking about people like, I'm not saying these are the agencies doing it, but we're talking about people like UTA and CAA, those type of agencies. When you have upcoming actors who are moving to Los Angeles, who are working commercials, who are doing things, trying to get agents, trying to get into this thing, and then you find out that these companies are looking at not real people to represent, because really you're representing the person who created that. And I know that they say that they're an actor, but if they don't have an agent, this is not how you get an agent. Like, if this was a visual effects house, if this was a sound mixing company, if this was something that, like, I could see it being used as a tool, making a deal with this company, that makes more sense to me. This, it being a actor who's going after talent acting agencies to get deals, that's where it's problematic to me. Because, and you know me, I'm against just generative AI in general, but I like what you said. AI is a very interesting tool. It's a dog shit replacement. And they can say all they want in their statement that, oh, this is not a replacement. Then talent agencies wouldn't be involved if that was the case, if that was really the case. And I think that, the idea of like, oh, they're going to generate stories with AI with them. You don't need a talent agent for that then. You just need to talk to the quote unquote, I'm not going to call them artists, the fucking people who made the AI. That's who you have to make your deals with. You're not going to make a deal with something that's not real.
But is there not any implication for it to be utilized from like I don't want to say like a previs standpoint, but just like to work on blocking, to work on the pacing of a scene, to work on tone without, essentially in that casting process, see, elements of the actress that you want to actually cast, Tilly just being the tool that you're speaking with in the moment to get the vibe of your greater story that you want, versus actually seeing her utilized within the film itself.
That makes no sense. Like, just to be honest, that would be incredibly wasteful use of that tool. Like, if just have someone put themselves on tape And the SAG, after a union, has already put in protections so that people can put themselves on tape and it's not going to, run them dry financially. So
I didn't realize that being put on tape was like an element of those negotiations. That was why I brought that up. I didn't think that being put on tape was part of a protection.
No, it is. It is because...
Okay. Well, that changes my answer then, yes.
Because during COVID, a lot of actors were being asked to put on tape, and they would do them at the expense of themselves, and they would constantly have to do it, to the point where they couldn't go to physical auditions anymore because they had to put themselves on tape so often, where it literally became like, hey, if you're going to ask an actor to do months worth of callbacks with their own equipment on their own time, you got to pay them something. And that's kind of where that came from in that protection.
It sounds like the Netflix AI that we talked about, that platform, just found their first star.
I mean, likely. But the thing is, it looks very much like a live-action AI character, quote-unquote live-action AI character. So I don't know what type of animation would be used for. Like, it just seems odd to me. It just seems odd to me. Hannah even says in the live chat, I assumed that they'd be animated. How could they do it live action? The character just looks live action. The AI looks live action. So, again...
they put her in live action. They put Crypto in live action.
Yeah, you can do a lot of stuff in live action.
Yeah.
I just think that the talent agency thing is what pisses me off about it. If it was more of a just, this happened, it probably wouldn't even be a story because it's like, all right, no one's going to take that seriously unless they somehow figure out how to do it themselves, right? But it's the fact that someone did it and now they're going, it would almost be like, to me, this makes just about as much sense as instead of hiring a cinematographer, I hired a camera. And I was like, all right, I'm going to give the camera money and the camera's going to shoot it itself. And it's like, no, someone needs to operate that camera. You need to hire a camera operator, a cinematographer for the lighting. It's like, nope, I'm just going to pay the camera. And it's like, well, I don't know how that's going to work then because that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I could probably think of a better metaphor or comparison later, but that's just like, to me, it's like you're paying something and you're representing something and you're putting something on a platform that can be dangerous. Like, that's kind of my whole thing about it. And
I think there's definitely interesting implications from it. I just disagree with the concept as a whole.
Yeah, like I'm just, why? I'm at the why, honestly. Honestly. And
now here's the question. Who will be the first director to cast her, and why is it Robert Zemeckis?
Dude, I was waiting for you to finish so I could be like, easily Robert Zemeckis.
It'll be Robert Zemeckis.
Oh, shit.
If this had happened 3 years ago, she would have been in Megalopolis.
Yeah. 100%. And last point I'll make on AI, and then we'll move on, is I think the industry as a whole would be a lot more chill about the use of AI if it wasn't being hailed as this next, sliced bread, the invention of the wheel that it's being hailed as. When the technology clearly is not ready when it comes to art, yes, it can be used as an interesting tool that someone who was hired to do a job can make their job faster, that was never going to hire anybody else in the first place. Yes, interesting. Let's explore that. But using it as a replacement and it being pushed as a replacement is what turns people off, is what makes people go, whoa, what are we doing here? And, I work with, at several different jobs I've worked with different people who are very into tech. And every time that happens, whenever a new technology comes out, it's immediately the greatest thing that's ever happened, ever. And it's like, all right, I feel like it hasn't been in the market very long. Like, maybe we should see how it does. And then when those things fail and the new thing comes out, well, then that's the greatest thing that's ever happened. And it's like, all right, I feel like we need to calm down here and just test it and see how it's going. And then we can make assumptions, especially when during the strike negotiations, just taking back to art, during those negotiations, when it became very clear that, they were going to use this to screw people out of jobs. Like, that's what it was going to be used for. And that's why, if if a dog gets abused its whole life and you go to pet it, it might jump back. And it's because that's how it's being treated, is we're being treated with it like that. And so now when you're like, oh no, I'm nice, it's like, I don't believe you right now.
I mean, I just think that AI became too much of a hush word around Hollywood, and it's due to the studios, being so sleazy and secretive with it. There was not
Yes.
transparency from the start on the usage of it, just even on post-production elements, not even, the generative AI that we've been getting into lately. And I think that just created a stigma about it. And now just any mention of AI in Hollywood in relation to Hollywood or filmmaking in general just became this like hush hush spit on the ground, like how dare you type scenario. And I think that could have been prevented if the studios were a lot more transparent up front with their intentions with it. But no one gives the studios the benefit of the doubt, as they shouldn't, because money first. They are probably using it for shitty ways. But I think that transparency definitely created a stain on Hollywood in relation to it.
I think you're 100% right. I think you're 100% right. If it was approached in a normal way, it would have been cool. Like, because people say, I'm sorry, I promise I'll move on from this soon, but people say all the time that, oh, well, when CGI came around, everyone recognized that was an interesting tool, and CGI, I'm like, yeah, go back and actually look at the history of CGI. It was slowly used, and people were like, interesting, let's see how it goes. It looked good in a movie. They were like, I wonder if you could make a whole character like that. Then they made it, and I think in fucking Young Sherlock Holmes, I could be getting this wrong. There was a knight that came out of a window. It was a painting, and it was a fully CG character, and people were like, holy shit. Did not think you could do that. All right, let's learn more about this. But you had artists making these, artists who would have done the animation for it, making the CG art, interested in doing it. And then you get Jar Jar Binks, and you eventually, years later, you get Planet of the Apes, and you get Thanos, and you get all, I mean, I'm just thinking of characters.
Avatar.
But Avatar, you think about buildings, how good is CGI when it's not human now? It's crazy. You can't even tell if it's real or not. And that, if that's what we were dealing with here, I think that's a different case. And we almost had it. We almost had it because you mentioned movies like The Fall, movies like Late Night with the Devil, that used it in interesting ways that weren't using it as replacements, and it was using the artist using it to help themselves, and it could have slowly became a thing that was interesting and used well, but instead, the gun got jumped and then it blew up. And now there's no trust with it, and I think you nailed it. I think that's the problem. Exactly.
I mean, it grew so rapidly that there wasn't, CGI, it took years to get leaps and bounds versus, I mean, just every new day there's some new massive jump in the world of AI. I mean, we've already gotten to AI actress, versus 2 years ago we were at, look at this image, this flat PNG, it's kind of wild.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. But guys, what do you think about this AI actress? Do you think this is a good idea? Do you think it's a bad idea? Do you think I'm, Unk yelling at a cloud? Let us know in the comments as we move on to our next story. And this one's a bit of a follow-up from a previous story. And that is this. We had talked about that there is a Miami Vice remake in the works. And I don't have it pulled up here, but I believe, is it Joseph Kosinski who's doing it?
It is. That is correct.
Okay. Memory served me well. Which is a very interesting idea altogether, but then immediately people started asking, who are going to be the two leads? You gotta pick great charismatic leads. Well, the rumor right now, and I want to emphasize rumor, is that it's going to be Michael B. Jordan and Glenn Powell. Now, holy shit, that would be cool, right? Wouldn't that be cool?
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I categorize this as a rumor is because it comes to us from Nexus Point News. Now, they've gotten a lot of things right. I'm not trying to discredit Nexus Point News at all. However, they're not nearly on the same level as trade, so you do have to take things they say with a grain of salt. But I did want to bring it on the show because I think it passes kind of the vibe enough of I think this could actually be legit. So I'm going to read a little bit from the Nexus Point News article here. Exclusive. Glenn Powell and Michael B. Jordan are in talks to star in Miami Vice. Sources tell Nexus Point News that Universal's upcoming Miami Vice remake is gaining traction by potentially finding its two leads. Glenn Powell and Michael B. Jordan are in talks to star as James Sonny Crockett and Ricardo Tubbs, respectively, in the upcoming film. Joseph Kosinski is set to direct with Dan Gilroy from Nightcrawler and Andor penning the script, based on an earlier draft by Eric Warren Singer and Dylan Clark. So, if this is real, I'm in. I'm so in. That would be so cool. I think these guys would be great. If it's not them, that's not going to take away from my excitement either. I think you obviously want to get actors who are talented. You want to get actors that have good chemistry. You want to get actors that people like. And I think there are several choices for this. I think these are great choices. And if Nexus Point News is right about this, first of all, what a great scoop. Secondly, I think that this would be a good idea, especially for Universal, who kind of likes to use star power to kind of get, mid-budget projects off the ground, because I don't think you can make this movie for that much money. Now, with that being said, it is Joseph Kosinski, who just made fucking Top Gun Maverick and F1, and he's probably going to ask for like $300 million to make this, which could be an issue. But throwing it to you, if it is these two guys, what do you think of that?
I mean, I love both of them individually, so put them together in a movie, and I'm gonna be there. I have no relation to Miami Vice. I'll be completely honest. I never watched the series. I never watched the movie with Colin Farrell and who started in that with him.
Oh my
Farrell
god!
And yeah,
oh my
why am I
god!
blanking on it?
It's the Michael Mann one, right?
Yeah, the Michael Mann one.
Oh, my brain, guys! Live shows. This is what happens when you brain fart. Who the fuck was in that?
Oh, it's Jamie Foxx.
Oh my god, thank you. Oh my god.
Jamie Foxx and Colin
I don't know
Farrell.
where my brain went on that.
Yeah, so I never saw it. So sure, these are great actors, so I'm always on board for it. I saw some castings going around too that people pairings. I saw one that was I think it was Austin Butler and John David Washington, which I think that's a pretty good combo.
That would be good. Yeah.
But so here's my question, right? If there is truth to the Glenn Powell, right? That kind of shows, and it was shown, I think Joseph Kosinski likes a lot of the times to work with the same people, So do you think that we actually see like a Glenn Powell and a Damson Idris? Because I have not heard of his next role being picked yet, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
So yeah. I could see it maybe going that route, because whatever it is, if he's not the next Bond, then we need to get him in something,
Listen, or get David Johnson in here. I'd be fine with that.
Oh. Him and Cooper Hoffman again.
Yes. Oh my God. That'd be great.
No, listen. Joseph Kosinski's really kind of what piqued me into this project and got me interested. Because again, I don't really have a connection with Miami Vice, but I mean, this has to be outside of now that we need another Bond, it's got to be probably one of the most hot ticket items to get people into, right? Like that is a project that's going to get some big talent. And I think there's going to be some fighting on that. You're going to see some names, and I think it's going to come down to chemistry too. Like that is the core of that. It's a buddy cop thing. Well, I think it's more of a buddy crime thing. But I mean, I think it's good. I think yeah.
Listen,
good casting if it's the two of them.
I'm gonna copyright buddy crime thing and make it like a band name or something. That's just genius. But yeah, no, I agree with everything you said. I think the chemistry is very important. I think that to me, I keep going back to the budget. I hope they don't over budget this movie. I really don't want them to ruin that. But you never know.
Michael Mann budget was.
I'm gonna throw out 40. Oh God, it was way more, wasn't it?
Yeah, there were delays. If you want to revise your answer with the fact that there were delays.
I am going to stick to it and look dumb. What was the Michael Mann Miami Vice?
So the delays led to a budget of what some insiders claimed to be over $150 million.
Oh my God.
Though Universal says 135.
That's still high. There's no way they're making it for less than that, right? The new one? Oh, Jesus.
I mean, depending on the talent that they pull from it.
Yeah.
Did it make any? Was it well received? Was it not well received?
It was well received. I don't know if it did well.
It kind of just took on like a kind of cult kind of following. Is that right? So when I type in Miami Vice into the numbers website to actually pull that, it just keeps pulling up the 2027 one and not giving me any other. Like it's just going directly to that page. Here we go. 2006. Miami Vice made 164 at the box office, so it made its production budget back, and then another 40 million
DVD?
on DVD.
We miss old revenue streams.
The numbers does have the production budget at 135, so made
Okay.
1.2 times its budget.
Okay. See, got to keep that budget down, in my opinion. But I doubt it. It will be. But anyway, guys, what do you think? Do you think that Glenn Powell and Michael B. Jordan will make a good team up for Miami Vice? Samar in the live chat says that Michael B. Jordan is a bit overcasted to him. That's subjective. I could see him all day long. I can never get tired of him personally, but I get it. I get feeling that way. Let us know in the comments as we move on to our next story. And guys, I'm going to start this next story by just showing you this picture of John Wick and Ballerina. Aren't they lovely? Ballerina didn't perform well as I wanted it to, which is a shame. But that doesn't mean that there can't be more John Wick movies. Oh, no. Not only are we getting John Wick 5, which we know, we're getting the Donnie Yen spinoff, which we know. There is another John Wick movie coming, everybody. And you might be thinking, ooh, what are the details? What is it going to be about? Yada, yada, yada. Well, we don't know much. That's the problem. However, there's one small detail, I don't know, that kind of got out there. And it's just about what the movie is. You are not going to believe me when I tell you this. I'm about to tell you something that when I read this, I sent it to Nicholas and just in all caps said, oh my God. So, here we go. Variety was kind of doing a profile on a bunch of people. One of the people they did a profile on was Austin Everett, who is a writer. And it was kind of going through, just kind of talking about him, doing stuff. And it, oh so casually, because the trades do this sometimes, where they just throw something in there that should be a huge story. He says he's also penned an original samurai western set in the John Wick universe, saying, that's probably as much as I can say. A fucking what? A samurai western John Wick movie? Are you absolutely kidding me? Please, God. Please help this happen. Please help this movie happen. I don't care.
Put that in the fuck yeah column.
It's in the fuck yeah column. And you know what? I'm going to throw all my morals out the window. You can make this budget whatever the fuck you want. You go crazy. You lose all that money. Just go for it. I am so in on the samurai western John Wick movie. Oh my God.
This needs to be live action too.
Please listen, if it's animated, I'm still there.
Oh yeah,
I'm still there.
Absolutely, I'm still there. But man, we need a good samurai and a good western. We're ripe for a new one.
Yes.
And so make it this. Throw in a Predator. Why not?
This is a massive recession indicator, but I'm okay with that. But listen, you tell me.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
This was a buried story too, because
yeah,
every article was just kind of like, hey, we got an update that John Wick prequel about him getting out of the high table to go be with his wife. They're like, that's still happening and it's animated, and now it's a movie instead of a series. And then they're like, oh, also another script is for this. We don't know if it's related. And I'm like, I think they're different movies. I don't think John Wick getting free from the high table is a samurai western. I just don't.
Not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit.
I doubt it.
But I think they were using that as a jumping off point of could it be animated or could it be live action based on that movie being animated? But I mean, I'm all for it. I mean, but make a Kane movie as well too. We still need that happening, and that's supposed to be coming soon, right? I think.
Yeah, from what I understand, they should be shooting it. Hopefully, if not, I think it's spring. I want to say. I could be completely wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure they start shooting it next year.
Last I heard, it was still trucking forward. It is greenlit. Yeah. It is happening. So I'm pro that. So yeah, just keep growing the John Wick universe. It's a universe I really like.
Same. I love this universe. I love the idea of samurai western, let alone a samurai western in the John Wick universe. Fuck yeah. Pump it in my veins. Guys, what do you think about a John Wick samurai western coming to us? Let us know in the comments as we move on to our main topic story today. And that is this. James Mangold is arguably one of the best filmmakers working today. I think that's fair to say. He has directed films such as Identity, Logan, Ford v Ferrari. He just recently did A Complete Unknown. The guy's got it. He is a fantastic director. And recently, he's still set to do, like a Star Wars movie, a Swamp Thing movie for DC, slowly but surely going on to those. But there's another studio that Nick and I have been reporting on a lot lately that's just been making some big fucking moves. And as soon as I said that, you know exactly who I'm talking about. We're talking about Paramount and their new leadership. Well, in what I think is honestly one of the biggest filmmaking moves in a while, Paramount has signed James Mangold to an overall deal. For those of you that don't know what that means, it's essentially saying, with the exception of contracts that are already pre-existing, like Star Wars and Swamp Thing, James Mangold now has a deal with Paramount to where they get first dibs on his projects. Oh, my dog is barking. Nick, you take the story from here.
Yeah, I mean, it's very exciting stuff. I mean, you have High Side, which is the Timothée Chalamet biker movie that they're going to be doing. And that was first landed at Paramount. So clearly, when they actually started getting into the development of that project and getting that up and going, clearly James Mangold and Paramount really worked on some great agreement. They probably offered him like a great deal, great bargain. He's probably loved working on this project with them. I think they're gearing up. They're in very, very, very early stages of pre-production. But I mean, Paramount's been making big moves lately, and this was a huge one. James Mangold is someone that you want making movies for your studio. And I think signing him and having that locked in on the first deal, especially because with it, right, you have Timothée Chalamet starring in High Side. So it's actually going to be a great way to have Timothée Chalamet coming into your studio as well and working with Paramount. I'm trying to pull up a little bit more from the article here. 5-time Oscar nominated filmmaker, which is crazy. Mangold had a quote saying, "I'm very excited to begin this collaboration with David, Josh, and Dana and everyone at Paramount. The enthusiasm they have demonstrated toward big screen films and the passion with which they've embraced my ideas for future projects is truly thrilling." He came in and said, "I need to make sure that all of my stuff goes into theaters." And you know what? Respect for it.
I'm back. I think we're good. I may have to run again. Thank you for holding that down. And I agree with you. I think, obviously, theatrical is a huge priority to James Mangold. And I think that him being able to have this deal is kind of protecting that for him. Because what he might be seeing is that whenever he's trying to get a movie made, the first option that gets thrown by is streaming. And he's like, Jesus Christ, I don't want to do all that. So, and it looks like, like you mentioned, like Paramount had won High Side in a competitive bidding war, according to the Deadline article as well. And that kind of led to this conversation of him getting this overall deal. And I know I mentioned it earlier, but how overall deals work is it's kind of a studio basically saying like, hey, we want you to make your films here. And if you sign this deal, that means you kind of have to make them here. So there you go. And that's kind of where we're at. There are ways around overall deals, but mostly it's this. Like I believe Ryan Gosling has an overall deal with Amazon. Timothée Chalamet had an overall deal with Warner Brothers. So there's interesting stuff going on with these overall deals that we've seen recently. I believe Justin Daniel Cretton was one of the first people to have an overall deal with just a Marvel Studios, period, which is quite the achievement. But
did Coogler not have one?
I don't think so. I don't think he did.
That's very funny that he signed that deal with Marvel, Dustin, to then go on and now be directing a Sony movie.
True. But what's funny though is he was supposed to make Kang Dynasty, while developing Shang-Chi 2, and he did exec produce Wonder Man. So he did do something.
And
but
and the spinoff. There was supposed to be a show as well, wasn't there?
Oh yeah, the Ten Ring show. Yes, that never happened. But he was developing that. So he was working. He was just like, I'm trying to work on this deal that you guys gave me. You're not letting me. But it happens. It is what it is. But going back to James Mangold, I think it's a very interesting choice. I think we're going to see any potential fallout of this deal way sooner rather than later. But I think he knows what he's doing, and if he thinks this is the right move, then it's the right move, and that he needs to kind of go with a company that's going to prioritize theatrical and prioritize the projects at the budgets that he needs. And I also think he doesn't really over-budget projects, so I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be fine.
Is Swamp Thing movie safe? That's all I need to know.
I think it is. I think there was some sort of pre-existing agreement with Swamp Thing and with Star Wars to where he can still make those. Overall deals can also... Oh, sorry, really quick. Overall deals can also apply to production companies. So Legendary had one with Warner Brothers, and they moved to a different company, but their pre-existing deal for Dune and the MonsterVerse movies remain. So they can still make those movies for Warner Brothers while moving on to the new studio that they work for. Anyway, go ahead.
Just going to Swamp Thing now, pivoting one. I'm very excited about a James Mangold directed Swamp Thing movie. Have you seen Vincent D'Onofrio campaigning his ass off for it?
Oh yeah.
Simply let him.
Simply let him is right.
Okay,
Simply
but
let
like
him is correct.
Genuinely though, like listen, okay, I think Vincent D'Onofrio's a terrific actor. He is like Kingpin, like good fucking lord, he just owns that role. Like, it's going to be hard to have, like, another Kingpin after him, you know?
Yeah.
Just as a comic fan. And I'm not even just saying because, yes, give him the role because he wants it. I really can't think of a better casting for Swamp Thing than Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think he'd be an excellent choice.
That's my rant there.
No, I'm glad you went on it. I'm glad you went on it. Because I hope one day on this show we get to fucking talk about that he's been cast as Swamp Thing. That's my dream. That's my dream, and hopefully we get it. But guys, what do you think of James Mangold signing this deal with Paramount? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think his projects will benefit from it? Let us know in the comments. As we move on to our B-roll stories, for those of you that don't know how it works, the B-roll are stories that we also wanted to talk about, but we didn't have time to go really fully in depth on them, but we still wanted to kind of bring you the headlines and keep you updated as to what's going on. But before we go into the B-roll, let me first talk about NordVPN and our partnership with them. If you like to keep your information protected and safe while on the internet, you should definitely get NordVPN because it allows you to do that. It's at a big discount if you use our code nordvpn.com/movie nights in the description below. Also, if you want to use it for movie and television purposes, you can use NordVPN to say that you're in the UK, that you're in Japan, that you're wherever, to let them to be able to access streaming services from those places at different times. You know, I dabble in Doctor Who, I dabble in WWE, and whenever I need to have something with NordVPN in order to be able to use it, I can then go on NordVPN and say that I'm in another country to which WWE is on Netflix instead of this new ESPN bullshit that I have to buy. So NordVPN becomes very useful for film and TV. Please use it. Please use our code and save yourself some money. B-roll. A few weeks ago on the show, I was very excited about the idea of Jack Schaefer, the showrunner of WandaVision, potentially showrunning a Fourth Wing series for Amazon, because my fiance is a big fan of that book series. Unfortunately, Jack Schaefer will no longer be the showrunner of Fourth Wing. It will now be Meredith Averill. Looks like she is in final negotiations to be the showrunner of the Fourth Wing franchise that, by the way, I believe they've gone through... How many did... the Deadline article said... Let's see... I think she's the third or fourth person who was going to showrun the show. It was originally going to be Maura Wally-Beckett, who left in June, and then Jack Schaefer, and then now her. So it's the third person that could be showrunning the show. So hopefully these problems are getting fixed quickly rather than fixed poorly. But yep, looks like they have a new showrunner, and the person who's going to be doing it, Meredith Averill, she is known for being a Wednesday Season 2 executive producer. She is also, let me see here, a co-developer, executive producer, and co-showrunner of Netflix's Lock and Key. And she was also an executive producer on CW Star-Crossed and an executive producer on The Haunting of Hill House. To me, that's the biggest credit she could have. That is one of the best television shows ever made. So, yes, new showrunner for The Fourth Wing. Nick, any thoughts on this?
Sounds like a downgrade.
Potentially. Hannah in the live chat says, are we worried about it being canned since there's been so many showrunners? It could be canned, but to me, the fact that they're continuing despite the number of people leaving shows that they're at least committing to actually producing it. Producing it well, better question. Nick,
but the talent agencies behind, you have Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Nolan backing it as well. Like,
Yeah.
that's getting made, you know?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Like, there's no way that's not. And it's very interesting because isn't the Creed series supposed to be through Amazon as well?
Yes.
And Jonathan Nolan is currently doing
Fallout.
Fallout for them. So, they apparently Amazon's the company to get in with, you know?
That's how they get you. That is how they get you. My favorite B-roll story is this. The fucking Simpsons Movie 2 is finally happening. It's coming out 20 years after the first movie. It'll be out in 2027. That got officially announced. So finally, when Maggie said sequel in the credits of the Simpsons movie, we're going to be able to say we got it. She was only 20 years too late. Listen, I'm not going to lie. I fucking love the first Simpsons movie, dude.
It's
I think
great.
it's so good. It's so good. Like, the Simpsons movie was the first Simpsons thing I watched. And I thought it was so funny that I was like, oh, I'm going to go check out the show. And then I got into the show. I'm not like a huge fan. Like, I haven't binged it or like a whole lot of it or anything. But I had no passion about The Simpsons. I saw this movie and I was like, wow, that was really funny. And then familiarized myself with it more because of how much I liked the movie. I assume you liked the movie as well.
Yeah, the movie's amazing. I mean, The Simpsons overall are incredible, but the movie's fantastic. I'm very excited about the idea of a sequel. And here's the interesting part, right? Like, it can't be like it's just going to be a Simpsons movie. I think that's so fun. Like, yeah, it's a second Simpsons movie, but it's not like it's going to be a sequel to one that came out with 20 years. I mean, how many seasons of the show have they had since then? Do the Simpsons have a contract in terms of like when they're ending? Like, could this be like a secret like finale?
I have no idea, honestly. To my understanding, It's just going to run until everyone who works on it dies. That's just what it feels like.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm very curious to see what story they kind of cracked and why now of all times to be doing it. So I think it's very interesting.
Yeah, no, same. It is incredibly interesting.
Did it say theatrical release?
Oh, if it's not, I'm rioting. So, I didn't even check.
Who owns? Oh, that's Disney now, isn't it?
Yeah, Fox, yeah.
Slated to release in theaters July 23rd, 2027.
That's right.
Ooh, goddamn, are they going up against Secret Wars?
No, that's December now.
Oh, that's right.
Next up on the B-roll, more Roadhouse 2 news, because that's what the fucking people want. Aldis Hodge has been cast in Roadhouse 2. Listen, I like this. I think Aldis Hodge is a good actor. You know what? I'll say it. He was a great Hawkman in Black Adam. I thought he was excellent. And, I will watch his career with great interest, as Chancellor Palpatine would say. And I think this is a very interesting choice for Roadhouse 2. I think he's going to have an interesting dynamic with Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm excited about this. What are your thoughts on this?
Same. I thought he did a terrific job as Hawkman in Black Adam. I liked the Jake Gyllenhaal Roadhouse. I know you were a little bit more mixed on it. I enjoyed it. And I think they added a lot more star power to the second one because isn't Batista in it as well?
Yes, that's
I
right.
mean, they rounded out a very good cast. So I'm excited for it. I'm very curious to see who comes in to direct it because I was very excited about Guy Ritchie's Roadhouse 2, but that came and went, unfortunately.
Yeah, all of my hype deflated when he left the movie.
Yeah. Do you think I'm gonna pivot into comic books because
I know he played Mysterio, but he's been trying to play Batman specifically for a long time. Like I think he's auditioned every time, like they've done it, and it would not shock me. But I also think that I don't know if he's going to end up being Batman, but it wouldn't shock me to find out that he's reached out saying that he wants to be Batman. That wouldn't shock me at all.
I mean, he picked the best. It's the best time because he's going to be in tip-top shape for these. It's probably great cast or a nice bonus in the casting process.
Oh, for sure. Next up on the B-roll, Tony Gilroy of Andor and Jason Bourne fame is making a new film, and it now has its two leads in David Harbour and Pedro Pascal. Fuck yes. Are you kidding me? Tony Gilroy and these two beautiful titans? I'm in. I'll also give some details about that film for you right now from Deadline. The movie is called Behemoth with an exclamation point. That's important to point out. And it goes on to say, let's see, details about the movie. Plot details are vague at this time, but Gilroy has said in interviews that the film revolves around a celloist. Now we're getting into the good shit, guys. Now we have some good shit going on. So,
orchestras are built on hope and rebellion.
dude, the whole time I was talking, I was trying to get to a joke like that, and you beat me to it. Very good, very good. Anyway, you say Pedro Pascal, I'm in. You say David Harbour, I'm in. You say Tony Gilroy, I'm really in. You say all three, my ticket's already purchased. Nick, do you have any other thoughts?
Nope, same exact thing as you. Listen, I think coming off of Andor's, Emmy nominations, getting a lot more people talking about Andor and excited, I think Tony Gilroy's become a name that people may begin to start to recognize and watch his projects with interest. Like hearing, oh, it's a Tony Gilroy project, I think it's become a lot more commonplace.
Mm-hmm.
And you're coming at Pedro Pascal, who's at the height of his star power. And you have David Harbour, who just came off of Thunderbolts, who's going to be going into both Avengers movies, as well as finishing up Stranger Things, as well as Violent Night 2. So I think it's great casting, especially from a star power perspective. I mean, these are two actors that are going to get butts in seats, regardless of the project.
Oh, for
that
sure.
That project being a Tony Gilroy project is just icing on top.
100%. 100%. I'm with you. This next B-roll, Nick, is just for you. I'm going to give you the floor here. It has been confirmed, officially, that not only are we getting a Peaky Blinders movie, but we are getting a Peaky Blinders sequel series. Nicholas, I know that you love Peaky Blinders. The floor is yours.
It was a very interesting story. I know that they're deep into post-production on the movie, which I'm very actively excited for. And I know Stephen Knight's going to be behind it, which, good. Don't do it without him. I have not had the chance, unfortunately, after ranting about it for weeks on the show. I have not checked out House of Guinness yet.
Boo.
That he just did. I know, but I really want to. So an idea of a sequel series is very interesting, especially because I think will probably pick up after the movie. So I'm very curious to see what direction that the movie takes and how far. I don't think really details have come out in terms of how far of a sequel series this is going to be. Is it shortly after the events of the movie? Is it years after, generations after? I think it's going to be very interesting to see.
I agree with you. I still need to watch the original Peaky Blinders, which you can get mad at me about. I got mad at you about Social Network.
Dude, It's so good. Cillian Murphy and Tom Hardy. Come on.
I know. It's just one that's been on the watch list for too long, and I need to get to it. But don't worry, we will. We will eventually get there. I believe NASA is who said, good try. Next up on the B-roll, we have this. I Play Rocky is a movie coming out about Sylvester Stallone putting his foot down that he's going to play Rocky in the script that he wrote called Rocky. We talked about Rocky being cast recently. They've officially cast Carl Weathers, an actor playing Carl Weathers, and that actor is Stephen James. And if I'm not mistaken, you may have to fact check me on this. I believe Stephen James, I could be thinking of somebody else. Was Stephen James in If Beale Street Could Talk?
He was.
Okay. That movie, by the way, is great and underrated. If you've not seen If Beale Street Could Talk, directed by Barry Jenkins, wow. Go watch it.
I have not.
Great movie. But Stephen James playing Carl Weathers, I think, is a fantastic choice. And I would point to his performance in that film just to show how versatile of an actor he is. He's excellent in it. And, playing Carl Weathers is going to be no small feat. He was a Titan actor playing a Titan character. And personally, to me, you've casted it perfectly. I don't know how familiar you are with Stephen James's work. Are you? And if you are you excited about this?
I am not familiar. But sure, I'm very interested in this movie just overall. Like, it's a good story, but is it film worthy? I'm very curious to see the route that goes there. You I know love the Rocky franchise. You probably have a different take on that than me, but I'm just like, that seems like what the story is he said he wanted to play Rocky or they could fuck off. And now he's Rocky.
Yeah, and it won Best Picture.
I was just very confused. I don't know if you saw confusion on my face there, but there was just like on Google, Stephen James's like filmography. There was just some movie called American Son with Russell Crowe, but the only image from the movie on like the Google thumbnail is just a still of Russell Crowe from The Mummy. So I was just very confused there for a minute, trying to process what I was looking at.
That's funny. That is good. But guys, are you excited about Stephen James being in I Play Rocky? Let us know as we move on to the box office.
The box office.
It's my favorite time of the show. After this, we'll be doing our movie reviews, by the way, if you want to stick around for those. But I'm letting you know right now, we are shamelessly clipping those the fuck out as separate videos, and we're going to do our whole intros in here and everything. So don't you worry. If you want to fuck off before that, you'll see them on the channel. It's all good. But stick around for the box office. So here we go. In our predictions last time, we both did not do very well, as you can see. I got 1 and 4 right. You got 1 right. Everything else was just fucked up, as they say. But now let's dive into the actual numbers, shall we? This is when shit gets good. So, One Battle After Another came in first place in its opening weekend, making $22 million. And unfortunately did not make over 40, so the Warner Brothers streak is over, but we'll take it. It was still open number 1. Gabby's Dollhouse the Movie opened in second with $13.69 million in its opening weekend. Demon Slayer came in third in its third weekend, making another $7.1 million. The Conjuring Last Rites made $6.7 million in its fourth weekend, dropping 45%. And The Strangers Chapter 2 making it in the top 5, making $5.8 million in its opening weekend. Him in its second weekend dropped 73%. Jesus H. That is not great. The Long Walk is already in 7th place as well as it goes down. So let's dive into these numbers more specifically. One Battle After Another now has $71 million worldwide on a budget of $140. That budget's very high. It has some work to go. However, people have been monitoring it throughout the week, and it looks like it hasn't had horrible drops for what a movie of this size and a movie of this nature typically would have. So I think we could be looking at a very small drop next week, which would be very, very good for this movie. This movie needs it. I want this movie to be profitable so badly, Nicholas. So badly. So let's hope that it can get there. We'll be getting to our review to that movie in just a moment. Gabby's Dollhouse the Movie has $23 million worldwide so far on a budget of $32. So flip them around and you got your production budget back, but it's almost there. It's at 0.7 times the budget. We'll see how that goes in the weeks to come. Demon Slayer has $605 million worldwide. Doesn't have the budget there. I can tell you that bitch is profitable as hell. So good for them, for the people who made that movie. We got to talk about The Conjuring Last Rites. The Conjuring Last Rites is not only easily the highest grossing movie in the Conjuring franchise at $445 million, but it was budgeted at 55, making 8.1 times the budget back. This movie has made more than Thunderbolts. It's made more than a ton of other blockbusters that have come out this year. And it hasn't made as much as Fantastic Four or anything like that, but like it got way closer than anyone ever wanted to admit it would. So you got to really hand it to the team who made it and the marketing. They knocked it out of the park on that.
They did.
Strangers Chapter 2 has $8 million worldwide on a budget of 8.5. So it's almost there at its production budget, but even with those low budgets, which we like to see, these films have been panned so hard, and they made 3 of them basically back to back to back, so hopefully they can at least get something out of it. We'll see. We'll see. Him now has $22 million worldwide on a budget of 27. Looks like it's going to come even shy of its production budget, which is very surprising and unfortunate, although I didn't really love the film. The Long Walk has $38 million worldwide on a budget of 20. So it's at 1.9 times that budget. It looks like theatrical profitability might be off the table, but I think they might be able to make up for that with some digital sales, hopefully. So there is that. Let me look if there's anything else here I want to point out. We can talk about how bad Big Bold Beautiful Journey is doing. Let's see. Big Bold Beautiful Journey has made $14.5 million on a budget of 45. That is
Yikes.
unfortunate. Spider-Man 2 made $1.1 million last week. Good for Spider-Man 2.
In what year of its release? Or what week of its release?
Yes, I have to do the bit. And it's 1,109th week. Eleanor the Great is at $1.4 million total. I don't have a budget here, but I imagine it was a relatively low-budgeted film.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it for the numbers we got to dive into this week. But now, as you know, buddy, it is prediction time. I'll go first.
Please do.
So what do we got coming out this week? We got Smashing Machine, right?
Anemone.
Okay.
Oh, you have the Taylor Swift thing.
Oh, shit. Shit.
You know, the Taylor Swift thing that took one battle after another out of 75% of its IMAX and Dolby screenings.
Oh, that's crazy.
From what I'm hearing, a mid-ass to bad album. I haven't
That's
listened.
what I've heard too. I've heard that too.
That is the online consensus.
Yeah. Okay.
Morgan is actually currently at it now, so I will get feedback from that when she gets home.
So I'm gonna re-look up because I remember the last Taylor Swift movie did really well, but I'm trying to remember what it opened to.
But like how well?
Yeah. Because I remember we did a show on it. Like we did a show talking about how well it did. I just can't remember the numbers. Ooh, Samar brings up, do you have Chris Stuckman's movie in the schedule? So, yes. Shelby Oaks. So, I technically have an early access screener to it on Wednesday. I can't make it, though, which sucks. I really want to see this film really badly. I was technically a backer on the movie. I didn't give that much at all. But it's technically a backer on it, so I got one of these invites to go to it early on Wednesday. I don't think I can make it, unless by some miracle I can. But, so unfortunately, I probably won't be able to go. But I am going to see it for sure when it comes out in theaters. I cannot wait. Cannot wait to watch that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Very excited for it. Was there like a new trailer that was just released, I think, this week, too?
Maybe. I've been avoiding them. I saw the first trailer, and I'm like, I'm in.
That's all I needed.
Yeah. All right. So its total was $261 million. Holy shit. And it opened to... Oh my God, that's right. Oh. It opened to 93. Okay. See, this is a situation where I have an analytical part of my brain that says this isn't going to happen again. Because Taylor Swift 2 years ago, as big as Taylor Swift is now, it was still not Taylor Swift 2 years ago. Like, that was, like, massive. Like, during the Eras tour was massive. But I'm also old and unk, so maybe it will happen, and I'm just stupid. All right. You know what, Nick? I'm going to go with my heart.
Yep.
This is going to be really dumb. I'm going to go with my heart still. I'm going one battle after another. Repeat number one. Let's do it.
Ooh.
Second place going Taylor Swift.
All right.
Third place, I'll do Smashing Machine. Fourth place, I'll do Demon Slayer. Fifth place, I'll do Conjuring. I don't think Naomi is gonna do well.
All right. I'm gonna go Taylor Swift number one.
That's probably smart.
I'm gonna go one battle after another. I'm gonna go Smashing Machine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go Gabby's Dollhouse. And then I'll go Demon Slayer.
Okay. The only reason I didn't include Gabby's Dollhouse, because I didn't, right?
You did not.
Is because I'm
wondering...
no,
you... Oh, yeah. Yeah, you didn't do.
Yeah.
I typed it, though, but that's not right.
Wait. What did you put it at?
I put it at 4th.
Yeah, I think I said Demon Slayer 4.
You did Demon Slayer, then Conjuring 4. I just typed Gabby's Dollhouse because I was thinking of my order, which was wrong.
No worries. The only reason I didn't pick it is because I'm wondering if everyone who's going to see this movie has seen it. But I could be wrong. We will have to see. But yeah, watch. Taylor Swift opens to like $280 million or something crazy. But guys, if you want to predict your box office, please put it in the comments, and if you're right, we'll shout you out on the show next time. Typically, this is where we would end our show. However, as previously mentioned, we have some movie reviews to do, everybody. And shamelessly, as I mentioned before, we are going to clip these out as separate videos. So you're going to see some live behind-the-scenes shenanigans.
Some live editing
as to how we kind of shoot these. And we usually open them with a little statement. I'm trying to think, because the first review we're doing is One Battle After Another, so I'm trying to think of a funny opener for it. Let's see.
Is One Battle After Another a masterpiece, or are you just dumb?
Oh my god. Oh, I'm tempted, but I can't. That's good. That's good though. All right, hold on. I think there's something there for, will One Battle After Another have you checking your watch 1 minute after another, or is that too wordy?
I think it's too wordy. I think you could just kind of play into the hype of, like, you know, is it gonna sweep at the Oscars or be swept under the rug in a month?
All right, I think I have a version of that.
Yeah, something like in that direction.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna combine what you said but more nuanced. Okay, like your first suggestion. I'm gonna try to do it, but a bit more nuanced. Okay. Here we go. Whew, we got this. Whew, hold on, I gotta get in the fucking zone here. Okay. Here we go. I love doing this live is fun. Okay, here we go. Has Paul Thomas Anderson done it again, or do we somehow live in a reality in which he suddenly became bad out of nowhere? Welcome back to another Movie Nights movie review. I am Dalton Burdett with the amazing Nick Iricchio. Nick, how are you, my friend?
I'm feeling battled.
Battled. Thank you.
If it's not one battle, it's another. Am I right?
Fucking A, buddy. Fucking A. That is true. Guys, obviously we're here to talk about One Battle After Another. This is the latest film from Paul Thomas Anderson, and it stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Benicio del Toro, Chase Infinity, Sean Penn, Tiana Taylor, and let's not bury the lead on this one, Nick. This movie is fucking awesome. This movie is so good. In contention for the best movie of the year, in my opinion. Literally, my top 3 movies of the year so far are Sinners, this, and Life of Chuck. And I know Life of Chuck is third. I don't know what the other 2 are. I'm still kind of figuring it out, how I feel about them. But it's just a moment where this movie is about 2 hours and 45 minutes long. And I did not feel it at all. Like, it's paced phenomenally. There is a chase sequence towards the end of this movie that is so fucking good. It's an all-time great. It's an all-time great chase sequence. It's shot way differently from any chase sequence I had seen. The tension was real. The score is incredible. Obviously, the script and direction are amazing from Paul Thomas Anderson. That's no surprise. Sean Penn is most definitely going to get an Oscar nomination, I think. If I have to eat my words on that, I will take it because he's that good in the film. He completely disappears in that role. But all the performances, Leonardo DiCaprio, Chase Infinity, Benicio del Toro, all amazing. The movie somehow balances humor in a very interesting way where I was belly laughing several times in a movie that you didn't, if I told you what it was about, you wouldn't think I'd be laughing at all. And, it takes really complex themes, puts them in a very digestible story, and just puts the audience on a hell of a fucking ride. Amazing, phenomenal, loved it. Top movie of the year, in contention for number one of the year. Nick, I'm throwing it over to you. What did you think of it?
No, I agree. While you were talking, I looked at my top 3 list, and it's exactly the same. So
Hey, there
a
you
lot of great
go.
movies going on this year. No, I didn't know what to expect going into it, honestly. And I personally I loved it. I thought it was just an incredible piece of filmmaking, just an incredible movie. I'm not a huge Leonardo DiCaprio fan typically. I thought he was fantastic in this. When he leans into his comedy chops, I mean, he is a wonderfully gifted comedic actor, I think. And you just have this absolutely stacked cast for this to be Chase Infinity's first like major movie role. Like, holy crap, that girl's going places.
Yeah,
And
crazy.
just an overall wonderful. DiCaprio's great in the lead as well. And the supporting cast, though, I thought was really the standout. Teyana Taylor did a great job. Regina Hall had a very
Mm.
small role in it, but like to me, maybe one of the more impactful supporting performances in the movie. Benicio del Toro and his "few small beers" line is instantly iconic, and just the way they utilize his character in a juxtaposition to Leonardo DiCaprio's characterization was very interesting, very well done. Their dynamic was awesome. But I agree with what you said. I think Sean Penn not only is I think he's going to be nominated for an Oscar. I would be shocked if he doesn't walk home with it. To me, Stephen Lockjaw goes down as just immediately one of the best like movie villains
Mm-hmm.
just across the board. It's just a vile, disgusting human being of a performance, and
Mm-hmm.
Sean Penn's disdain toward the people that he's trying to be playing just comes through. Like, I've never seen a performance rooted in such anger and resentment toward a group of individuals.
Yeah.
And the character work and mannerisms that he's pulling out, I thought I was very impressed by. And going into, like you said, this chase scene in the third act, like I was levitating in the seat. I was on the edge of the seat as I was levitating on the edge. Yeah, it was just excellent filmmaking. I really cannot think of many negative things to say about the movie. I know it's not fun when we're just being overly positive, but some light pacing issues, but it wasn't an issue for me. Like, I was invested the full time there.
Yeah,
And
no,
there's a
like,
Steely Dan needle drop, which that's any way to instantly win me over.
I'm with you though. Like, I have to really dig deep. Like, if I was gonna find negatives on the movie, I'd have to really, really dig deep to like nitpicky things about how they portray some things in the story. But like, other than that, I have no issue. Like, it's just one of those things where you're watching it and you're like, oh, this could be an issue, and then it ties into something later. You're like, not an issue, and it just
Like,
keeps
if the movie
happening.
was bad and then you get nitpicky, that's fine. But the movie's
Yeah.
just so good that I feel bad nitpicking it.
No, 100%, 100%. And by the way, we're also a big fan of just movie character names of movie characters. As soon as they said the guy's name was Stephen Lockjaw, I was like, oh, we're in for an all timer. Like, this is gonna be something. Something
I
else
don't
that I
know.
like.
Sensei Sergio, what was it? Sensei Sergio St. Carlos is a
Yeah.
pretty amazing name too, from Benicio del Toro.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And um, Benicio del Toro's one-liners in this are fantastic. I don't want to spoil too many of them, but I also think that going just more in depth in terms of like the themes the movie is exploring, it's obviously has a lot of political stuff going on in the movie, and I know that could turn some people off, but I would say it's no different than movies can be about anything, and I feel like if you're someone who agrees with the politics of the lead characters, then obviously you're going to have a better, a more accessible experience to it. But the movie, what I love about it is that it doesn't look at those characters that it's portraying and saying they're doing everything correctly. It actually goes quite far into saying how they are not doing things correctly. And I think a beautiful, subtle way of doing that was showing how Benicio del Toro's character was doing things, and being like, oh, this kind of feels more correct in a way, like than what
Yeah.
the lead group of the French 75 were doing, and it portrays their actions as obviously not how you should do things, but at the same time, it really gets into nitpicks of that side of the political spectrum of what people deem to be important versus what's not. And they do that through phone conversations of Leonardo DiCaprio and someone who refuses to give him access when he's trying to speak in the code but can't remember. And it leads to some of the hardest laughs I've had in a movie this year. It was unbelievable. And, The criticism it does on the other side of the political spectrum, what I really enjoyed about it is it goes into not the jobs or the actions of these characters, but it's the why and the motivation. And when you get to Stephen Lockjaw's motivation, when Nick said, like, oh, this is just a disgusting, despicable human being, I'm not going to give it away. But as soon as you figure out, the mysteries of the Christmas Adventurers Club, you're like, oh, got it. And this is just miserable. And I think the movie having the goal to kind of just, in this climate that we're in, just be like, we're going to tell a story like this and do it in a way that's so fantastic, so down to earth, but also reflecting our world while being its own world and building its own world, I thought was genius and incredibly well done.
No, I agree. When we talk about things like you mentioned, the Christmas Adventurers Club and everything like that, and what that represents, when you get into the political commentary that it's doing, a lot of times it is very weird and grand and over the top in a way, but it's so laser focused in its criticism, in its critiques of what it is trying to either be satirical or either be commenting on, and it's kind of wrapped around this joke. But when you actually peel back that first layer, there's something very nuanced in the zaniness of what they're doing. And to me, that was when the movie was kind of the strongest. Like, that's when I thought it was firing on all cylinders.
100%. And I saw this really great thing online. I can't remember who said it, but didn't come from me. But it basically said that this movie is the spiritual antithesis to Eddington. And basically what it was saying is Eddington is also a very politically charged movie that goes into criticisms, on both sides in different ways and different hows. But the end of that movie is basically saying, like, and there's no hope and it's only going to get worse. And this movie is the similar, but the end message is there is hope and the next generation is going to do better. And it's like that. I was like, oh, that is an interesting comparison when you think about it in that way. I mean, they're very different fucking movies, but like I did think it was interesting.
Yeah, definitely, because I mean, there's that level of parody and satirization between both of them there. But I do think one is political and one's about politics, and I think that's where the
that is a great way of saying that. Great.
I think that's where that separates. But I do get the comparisons because there's really nothing like either of those movies.
Correct.
Like, even before this came out, you can't compare Eddington to anything. So I guess if you're grasping, that could be the closest comparison. But I think they approach subjects in a very different way, like you said.
100%. 100%. I could go on talking about how amazing this movie is all day. It's an easy 5-star movie for me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think I landed like 4.5, 5 stars. That's where I'm at. I think, and it's the same thing with Sinners. I gave Sinners 4.5 stars. This is really, we're coming into rewatch territory. Like once I rewatch it, I know it's not going lower, so I wanted to give it that room to go up to really solidify my feelings.
Yeah, no, I know exactly how you feel. But guys, have you seen one battle after another, and what did you think about it? I'd love to see your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. And then that's where I put in our little exit outro there. Again, shamelessly clipping these out. You want to do Good Boy next?
Yeah, I can do Good Boy.
All right. Here we go. You ready?
Right. Well, are you going to be on it, or is it just going to solely be me? Because I know you.
I'll have you intro it.
Okay.
And then you can say, like, I know you haven't seen it, and then I'll come in and then be like, yes, but I do want to hear about the review, and then go on.
So you'll be in it. Got it.
Yeah. And then I can maybe even ask questions about it to like help bounce it off and stuff.
Cool. That'd be good.
All right. You're on your close-up.
Oh boy. All right. Hold on. I didn't even think of an intro yet.
You're good. Whenever.
All right. I think I got one.
All right. Whenever you're ready.
All right. Here we go.
You got it.
It's so hard to come up with these on the spot.
It is. It's tough.
You would think for a movie review channel, we would actually like do a little bit more prep for these things.
Yes.
All right. Good Boy is the ghost story told from a dog's perspective, but is it just a 70-minute gimmick, or is there actually something of substance in it? Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a Movie Nights movie review. I'm Nick Iricchio, and I'm being joined by Dalton Burdett. Dalton, How are we today?
We are feeling like a good boy, my dude. I was trying to think of a pun.
Oh,
I just had to go with the title. Just
and
had to
those are
go with
hard to
it.
come up with, aren't they?
They
Now,
are. They are.
I've seen Good Boy. I got access to an early screening, which I was very grateful for. So I definitely wanted to talk about it and review it. But you haven't had the chance, right?
I have not had the chance, but when I heard that you'd seen it, I wanted to come on and I wanted to kind of just be here for the review and even bounce some questions off of you if because I'm very curious about the movie
Hmm.
and there are specific things that I want to know going into it. So I'm gonna let you take the reins from here, and then if I want to chime in, I will do so and find out more about Good Boy. So please take the reins, buddy.
Of course, yeah. So as mentioned at the top, Good Boy is a new movie directed by Ben Leonberg, in which here's the synopsis for those that may not be familiar with it. A loyal dog moves to a rural family home with his owner Todd, only to discover supernatural forces lurking in the shadows. As dark entities threaten his human companion, the brave pup must fight to protect the one he loves most. So this is fully a ghost movie. It is fully a horror movie entirely told from the dog's perspective. Now, something that I love that's been happening in horror movies lately is this change of perspective in what we're doing. We had a movie told earlier this year, directed by, oh my God, Dalton, if you could help me out here, the Ghost POV movie.
Presence.
Presence, directed by
Soderbergh.
Steven Soderbergh. Thank you. I don't know why I
Mhm.
blanked on that. So I love when horror movies are able to get experimental. Now, for those that might not be familiar, this was a super low budget project, and it was going to be a Shutter original. It still is technically a Shutter original, but it was going to go straight onto their platform. But it got such a big following about him being a good boy and wanting to see the dog movie that it actually got bumped up to a theatrical release. And I think it's in theaters now, which is very cool for this movie. I want to start out just, I guess, by talking about pros for the movie, and that's the dog. It's the dog, I
Of
believe's
course.
name is Indy, outside of the movie, the real dog's name. It is a wonderful animal performance. I was racking my brain trying to think of previous animal performances that I've seen in a movie. This is the best one I've seen in a long time. The way that it was able to kind of utilize tropes that you're expecting within a horror movie, except now you're just seeing a dog instead of a person. And knowing those tropes, you know exactly what that dog is thinking at every single moment. And the way the camera works, the way they play with sort of framing and blocking that you typically do see in these horror movies, just kind of down a few more feet to be from the dog's POV. I thought it was very interesting filmmaking, especially like I said, I without saying a word, and there's very minimal dialogue throughout the movie. You knew exactly what the dog's rationale was, you knew what the dog's reaction was, and it wasn't afraid to actually challenge that. There are jump scares with this dog, then you do feel bad for the dog. So there's that built-in like sort of empathy side of things. But for I think it's a 70-minute movie, it kept me engaged the entire time with that. You think with these type of movies that it's going to be a gimmick that kind of wears off after a few minutes, but I actually thought they were telling a very interesting story. And he does have an owner in it, and that's kind of where a little bit of the dialogue comes from. But you don't really get too much like scenes fully. Like, yeah, if I recall, I don't really think you see the owner's like face too much. You just kind of hear his voice and see his body. But there's a very interesting story going on in the background with the owner as it relates to the dog's storyline, as it relates to the horror elements of it, that I thought was very compelling for a movie that you're just kind of expecting to write off as the dog ghost movie. That was a lot. I'll let
Interesting.
you jump in, Dalton, if you have any thoughts there.
No, no, it's very interesting. Would you say that as a director, because I'm not really familiar with this person's work, do you think that they have a distinct style, or do you think a lot of that style just lends itself to just the dog being the lead character?
I think the style leads to that. I don't think it was a poorly directed movie, but I wouldn't walk away saying that you know, the direction was anything stylistically impressive. But I think, again, going back to like the way scenes were blocked, the way scenes were staged, and the way scenes played out, showed a very strong understanding of horror movie filmmaking in that regard,
Mm,
which I don't know the guy's work as well in that, but I was very impressed by that.
interesting, interesting. So on your, I know you like to give like star ratings on your reviews a
Yeah.
lot. Where would you kind of give stars on this movie?
I went for 3 out of 5. I think it's probably maybe a 2.5, but it's like a 2.5 that's like not in the good or the bad. Like it is just that true middle ground. But I thought the dog gave an excellent performance. I thought the direction was sound, and I like the way that it played with your expectations and that it wasn't afraid to take risks and things of that regard. Like the dog gets the shit scared out of him. The dog gets, light spoilers, but like there's a paranormal element to this. You're seeing the dog kind of being like flung around and dragged. Like you do get that built-in empathy of it. And I appreciated the willingness to go that far with it. Especially as you're now seeing like, these paranormal demons as they're, manifesting. And now you're just the dog, and you can just tell from the dog's face, he's like, oh shit, like I gotta get out of here. What the hell? And just the way they're able to play with, the dog knows what's going on, the human doesn't, and not being able to relay that information. But in terms of negative, again, uh, the direction was okay. Like it had a competency to it, but it wasn't anything stylistically incredible. There's limitations with having a full dog performance as well
Mm-hmm.
in that regard. So I don't think that this is something that was ever going to walk away with higher than a 3 for me personally. But definitely would be interested in seeing what this person does next. Negatives, there was some tropey elements as well to it. But I kind of gave it the benefit of the doubt again because they kind of needed to utilize those tropes to tell this a non-vocal horror story in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of really, I think I just came away a little more positive with it because I was expecting to just background noise. Gimmick gets old after a few minutes, and it did keep me engaged for the runtime. So I did walk away enjoying it.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad to hear that while they had a gimmick, that they were like, no, we're gonna make the best film we can. Because you see too many films like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, where it's like, all right, that was the gimmick, and they didn't even like try to make a movie. So, I'm glad to hear that at least a lot of effort was put in, and I look forward to seeing it. I do want to watch it. I just have to get around to it.
Very interested to see because I don't think it's a Shudder original. I don't think it's going to have a big budget behind it. So it getting that theater upgrade, I'm very curious to see if the word of mouth and the hype that was around it, which actually got it that social media presence to actually lift it into the theater. I'm curious if that audience is actually going to show up now and what this kind of, because whatever it makes, I'm sure it's going to blow its production budget out of the water if I had to guess.
Yeah, I mean, most likely for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But thank you so much for reviewing it, and I definitely have to check it out.
Of course, but has anyone had the chance to see Good Boy? If so, I would love to know your thoughts on it. Maybe I'm wrong. Please come back and tell me if I am, but I really enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next one.
Perfect. Nailed it.
All right. We're crushing it. Look at us go.
Yeah, 2 more. We got Smashing Machine, and then you got House of Dynamite, right?
Yeah. Do you want me to do House of Dynamite first and then we can end together?
Yeah, we can do that.
That works. I'm trying to see if there was a budget for Good Boy just because I am curious, but I don't think that's out yet.
Yeah, probably not. I'll look for it while you're reviewing House of Dynamite.
Okay, hold on here.
I'm sure this is just insanely riveting to the live viewers.
Yeah, as we're just setting up, and all 2 viewers, thanks for watching, guys.
Yes, of course.
All right.
Dead air.
I think I am ready for House of Dynamite.
All right. I'm gonna cut it to your close-up. Same thing as last time.
All right, ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Is House of Dynamite Netflix's big Oscar contender, or should it have just been relegated to the streaming release? Nope, that's not a good one. I had it. I thought I had something there, guys. We're going to try that again.
You got this, buddy. Take 2.
Is House of Dynamite Catherine Bigelow's next big Oscar movie, or should it have just stuck to its Netflix release? Hello, everyone. I'm Nick Aricchio. Welcome back to another Movie Nights movie review. I've got Dalton Burdett with me here today.
Hello.
How you doing, buddy?
Just full of dynamite. Again,
Dynamite.
I can't do the puns. I'm not good at it.
So this is another one. If you've watched our Good Boy review, I had the chance to see this movie, but I'm forcing Dalton to do the review with me because it's easier to talk. But Dalton has not had the chance to see this yet, unfortunately.
No. I was actually supposed to go to the screening as well. It was just one of those things where, as it happened, I couldn't make it, unfortunately, and I still wanted to come on the video and do the review because I do really want to see it, and I want to pick Nick's brain about it because I am a big Catherine Bigelow fan, so I am curious to see how this review goes. So, Nick, please dive into it.
I'm just going to come right out the gate and say I did not like this movie, guys.
Ooh.
And I hate to report that. Yeah, you know,
Damn.
it was a movie that I didn't know how I felt when it ended. And then on the drive home, I found myself thinking about it more and getting more and more angry. And then actually talking with people who've seen it and just explaining it to my girlfriend, who I forced to listen to it because I don't think she had an interest. Just found myself like, no, I don't think I liked this movie.
Here, dude, hold on.
Yeah.
In the stream, I messed up. I messed up really hard.
Oh boy. What happened?
I was trying to look up the budget of Good Boy.
Yeah.
And I typed in 2025 and I forgot my hotkeys are set on numbers, so it just kept cutting across like different angles and the intro, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot I did that. So
I could take this from the top, honestly. That's
on me.
You're good.
Are we close enough to the theatrical release to do the review? Because I know they were like, we should hold it closer to the theatrical release. I was thinking about that too.
The person there said there was no embargo.
Yeah. Then we're good. We're chill.
So I think we're okay.
For sure.
I mean, people have been posting Letterboxd reviews, so I feel like we're fine.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna take it from the top then.
Take it from I just threw it to you after the intro, and then
okay,
like where like I was like, oh, I want to see it too.
Is that intro good enough, or do I need to try that again?
I thought it was fine. I liked it.
All right.
Hold on.
Yeah.
No budget for Good Boy. So there we go.
Okay, well, there we go. Polish that off there.
All right. Throwing it back to you. Pick it up when you're ready.
I hope someone watches this live stream all the way to the end and just sees like our retention rate at the end of this is just going to be like
0.
Negative. Yeah, but I'm having fun.
I am too. I'm enjoying this.
House of Dynamite was a movie that I felt very conflicted when I left the theater, and as I started driving home, I found myself getting a little bit more angry. You know, you know how conflicting a movie has to be for you just to get angry alone in your car? And I kind of got that same vibe leaving the screening, that a lot of other people were kind of mixed, leaning negative on it. Admittedly, I found out right before the movie, I've never seen a Catherine Bigelow movie before. So I don't think...
Hold on. I'm interrupting. Are you fucking kidding me?
I don't think I have. I was trying to think about it.
You've never seen Point Break?
I've never seen Point Break, never seen Hurt Locker, never seen Zero Dark 30, never saw Detroit.
Oh,
this is where I lose all credibility with people tuning in for a House of Dynamite review.
Anyway, continue.
But yeah, I felt very, very mixed and then ended up angry. So for those that might not be familiar with the premise of the movie, the movie's about how the White House reacts in real time to essentially an unidentified missile from an unidentified source heading toward the United States. So it's a very, very short window of time. And the movie's told kind of that same style where you kind of watch these, I forgot the time, but like this time told out in about 3 different sections. So every like 20 minutes or so, you kind of have a hard reset, and then we follow a different group of people. Now, I don't have any issue with that kind of, I don't want to call it a Rashomon style, because I think that whole thing is everyone remembering it differently, versus here we're kind of seeing everything from a different perspective.
Like the 2008 thriller Vantage Point with Dennis Quaid. Go on.
Well, there we have it. And my issue isn't so much with the structure of the movie, because I think it's a very interesting way to tell this type of story, especially with everything that's happening. But the downside is you never really get a chance to settle in with the characters. And the whole point of doing this is that you want to feel for these characters. You want to engage with them. You want to feel sympathy for Rebecca Ferguson. You want to feel sympathy for Idris Elba. And with this structure, they come in and then they leave, and you don't really get a chance to have that sort of attachment to them. And with that too, with this type of style, you need to be revealing new information constantly as, each new section comes through. And I found the movie, instead of doing that, kind of just repeating very similar story beats across all of them, and revealing the same information each time. You know, to me, it never felt like there were any new developments happening in the section, and then the movie just ends. And that's kind of where I got my sort of negative view of it.
Okay.
I think it's a movie that would have been a lot better told from intercutting the stories together as opposed to just kind of that hard reset structure.
Okay.
Now, I think the ending was really cool on paper. I think the execution of everything leading up to it felt like it was underserved and undeserved. Underserved and undeserved. There we go. We have it there. And I left disappointed. That's the easiest way I think I could say it.
No, I'm hearing you, which is sad for me to hear. I mean, I'm still going to watch the movie when it comes out on Netflix, or if I can get an early screener of it as well. But it is sad to hear. On a technical level, how is everything?
I mean, I think the directing is good. I think the directing is helmed with confidence that its story is a lot more interesting than it is.
Gotcha.
And I think it sets up some very interesting stuff, but then there's kind of very random things that happen, and you're like, what's going on here? But I mean, the direction, the structure, the cinematography, I thought were all very engaging. I think it's my issues lie with just the story and the story structure overall. And just kind of the dialogue within that I found just very lackluster. I wasn't engaged, riveted in this fast-paced environment that we're supposed to be living in. But I mean, the performances across the board, I mean, this cast is stacked. I mean, you have Rebecca Ferguson, you have Idris Elba, you have Jared Harris, you have Jason Clarke, you have Anthony Ramos, and you have Greta Lee. What a cast. Yeah. I would say half of them are wasted.
Damn.
Which is just crazy to me. So, yeah, I was disappointed, underwhelmed, and this is probably the most negative review I've given this year. Just because I think I had so much hope, and on paper there's so much great things going on behind it to make it work, versus something like, I don't know, like Working Man is just bad. You know, like it's not fun. I didn't expect Working Man to be good. I expected Catherine Bigelow's House of Dynamite to be, you know, the Oscar contender, and I'm very concerned that they're backing the wrong horse with their releases, you know, and it makes me concerned that they had the confidence in this and not Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein or even Rian Johnson's Knives Out. So I'm very interested. It seems like the most Oscar contender of those all, but I mean, I don't see how it's not Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein out of all of those. But we'll see what happens. I hope Netflix, and listen, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's going to come out and people love it, but I can tell you right now, the critics' consensus was not positive leaning.
Gotcha. Well, no, I think you pretty much covered all the questions I had for it. Thank you for the review, man.
Of course. Listen, I have some positives with it, but overall, it just left me underwhelmed and a little bit angry. But what did you guys think? Have you had a chance? I know we're a little bit early, but when you do get the chance, please come back. I would love to know everyone's thoughts on it. See if I'm just crazy. You know, I love to be proven wrong or to have these conversations. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.
There we go. And
it's kind of an angry rambling there about House of Dynamite, but I hope you come back and you're like, this is my favorite movie of the year.
We'll see. By the way, I've heard mixed things about Frankenstein.
Ooh.
From people who saw it at festivals.
Uh-oh.
So we'll see. But I mean, I'm still hype as fuck.
And what of Knives Out?
I've heard 2 reviews that were mixed. Everything else was positive.
For Knives Out?
Yeah.
Interesting. Very curious. Just a mid-year at Netflix, I guess?
Yeah, I've heard that Knives Out, either the ending works for you in spades and it contextualizes the whole movie, or it doesn't and the whole thing falls flat.
Oh, so you got to really buy into that ending, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right. We got Smashing Machine left, bro. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right. I'll do the intro on this one.
Those intros are hard, man. Respect for you doing them every time. Like
It's all good.
I feel like I'm gonna watch back and be like, mine are terrible. I'm gonna send you like videos of me recording new ones.
Dude, the puns are hard. I don't know how you do the puns. Those are what are really hard. Because it got thrown to me and I was like, fuck, I don't know what to say.
Especially when you don't think about it.
Yeah. No, for real. All right, here we go. Here we go. I got this. You ready?
Yep.
Hold on. I have a good one. I was trying to think of the ending. All right. I got it.
All right. That's good. We're approaching dead air time.
Yep, we got it. You
Yeah.
ready?
Yes.
Can you smell what The Rock is cooking with the smashing machine, or should he go back to movies in the jungle? Welcome back to another Movie Nights movie review. I am Dalton Burdett with the amazing Nick Iricchio. Nick, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing smashing, old chap.
Smashing, like the wild thornberries.
Smashing it. Yabbity-beat-a-ba.
Dude, yeah, I was going to do it. I was about to do it. What was that character's name? Donnie? Was that his name?
Yeah, I think it's Donnie.
Oh, yabbity. It's so good. Anyway, I can't believe we started the Smashing
We're
Machine
off to a
review
great
like that.
start, guys.
Off to a great start. But we're talking about the Smashing Machine. This film was directed by Benny Safdie, and it stars The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and Emily Blunt. And it is about a 3-year stretch of time for the life of UFC MMA fighter Mark Kerr. Nick and I actually went into a very in-depth talk and review on this over on the Films for Breakfast podcast with Adam Sedaris. Amazing time over there. Great show. Please go check that out as well, where we kind of go into more spoilery details and really do a deep dive. We're kind of going to mostly stay surface level on our review here. But I just want to say that I like this movie. I thought it was quite good. I don't think it's a great movie. I think there are things that prevent it from getting to that status. But overall, I enjoyed it. And I think that the performances are really well done. And of course, starting with The Rock. I think that Dwayne Johnson gives what's easily his best performance. I think that he really wants to win that Oscar really bad. I don't think that's the case, but if the goal was to do a role that's outside of his comfort zone, to have people see him in a different light and see if he's capable of more, I think he checked all of those boxes. Like, honestly, I thought that there were moments in this where even with someone as much of a distinct look as The Rock, there were moments where I didn't see him at all, and I just saw this character that he was playing, which is what you want, obviously, as an actor. There's a sequence in a hospital bed that I think he knocks out of the park in terms of his performance. It's his best scene in the movie, I think. And, this movie is about addiction. It's about addiction to drugs. It's about addiction to winning. And just kind of seeing Mark Kerr go through what he goes through with the mix of sports tropes, which don't always work, but sometimes work. We basically tried to get A24's version of Rocky 3, and for the most part, it was okay. I'm going to throw it over to you, Nick. What were your thoughts?
I'm kind of with you where it was mid, it was good, and I think that hindrance, there was something great in there. I thought that Benny Safdie did a great job directing.
Mm-hmm.
I think his editing was a little mixed for me. I think the movie had some pacing issues overall, but
I agree with you. Mm-hmm.
in terms of the direction, I thought it was great. The performances to me were the standout of the whole movie. I mean, Emily Blunt's just a terrific actress. You always expect that. And I agree with everything you said about The Rock. I don't think the Oscar win is in there. He might squeak in a nomination, but I really don't know what else he's up against that's coming out the rest of the year. So it's possible that he just gets lost in the dust. But I agree with your whole concept of just like, if the goal was to see The Rock in a different light, he proved a lot to me in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, and I know he's now attaching it. He's trying to make that pivot. I know he's got another movie with Benny Safdie that he's lining up. He's going to be in the next Martin Scorsese movie. And these are now things that I'm like, oh, this could be a very interesting choice, not just expecting to see The Rock. It was a very transformative role, which it was great to see. Ryan Bader also had a supporting role where he played Mark Coleman.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Another Mark in the movie. For this to be his first acting performance, to my knowledge, because he is actually a UFC fighter or an MMA fighter. That's the same thing, isn't it?
Ish, yeah.
I thought he did a phenomenal job. Like, I thought it was a very strong supporting performance in the film. And I think The Rock and Emily Blunt's chemistry is great. That's, I think, what elevated Jungle Cruise. I have to mention Jungle Cruise here.
Of course.
And I think it was a great choice to cast them together in this movie. I think just the movie itself felt conflicted about what it wanted to be. I think it wanted to do a lot, and I think it was held back by also needing to be an A24 movie. I know A24 is a studio, but there is that stigma going against it of A24 being a particular style of movie and not just a movie studio. And I think that may have been the film's biggest hindrance, because I think there's an excellent addiction story here. and I think there's an excellent sports drama here. And I think sometimes those two just did not mesh as well as they wanted executed.
No, I agree. I agree with you. I think that I personally liked the end of the film. I think the build up to the end of the film could have been done a lot better. But I think the actual shot, I'm not going to give away, and not like the final shot, but the ending, the last time we see Dwayne Johnson portray the character, I thought was very well done. Leading up to that, though, I think the build up to that was a bit weak, and I think that's also part of where the tropes don't exactly mesh with the type of story they're telling, and the subversion of the tropes should work, but they also don't quite work, which is why you kind of have a little mixed match of the story there. But I agree that Benny Safdie crushed the direction, didn't crush the editing. Overall, I enjoyed the film. I learned a lot more about Mark Kerr, and The Rock portrayed the story very tragically and very well. It was very well done. It's a good movie. It's kind of just and people are going to think that I hate the movie because I say that, and that's not true at all. I try to be nuanced on the internet, see where that gets you. But I liked the movie. I thought it was very good. I'd probably give it 3 or 3.5 on a good day. Maybe I'm at 3, but I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I think I'm at 3 too, because I don't know if I don't know if the rewatchability factor is there, and I think that's kind of what bumps it to a 3.5. But again, it was great to see The Rock trying something different. I appreciate the effort. I respect the effort. There were strong performances, and I think that the performances are what elevated the movie for me. I think that Emily Blunt's character could have easily been, the SNL Heidi Gardner boxer wife, every wife in a boxer movie character. And I think her performance made it something different from that. And I think every time it was kind of approaching that, Blunt's performance was able to kind of pull that back. So, I think there are a lot of strong positives and a lot of strong negatives for the movie, which just end up evening out. But I'm very excited for this new direction with The Rock, and I'm excited to see where it goes from there.
I agree completely. And guys, what did you think of The Smashing Machine? Have you had a chance to see it yet? Let us know what you thought in the comments down below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Dude, we killed those.
We didn't get a chance to make the hierarchy of the UFC.
Damn it. Shane. Damn it. That's okay. I thought my intro was still okay.
I liked your intro a lot. No, this was good. I like doing the reviews on this. It was
yeah. It was
I don't know if our audience does, but
no, but that was fun. Guys, if you're still around, thanks for putting up with us. We appreciate it. If you guys could hear about our schedules right now, it was like either we do it during the show or they're not getting done. Yeah. So we just had to make that choice. So thanks for putting up with us.
Up too, so we're trying to knock them out so we could at least stay up to date.
Yeah, award season's coming, which means those screeners are coming in. We got some shit to do, and then of course. Yep. With day jobs as well, like the fourth quarter is always the busiest. Like everything at the same time gets busy.
Holidays
for family and friends. You got work getting busier. You have this getting everything is busier. So it's a whole thing, but we're going to get it done. We're going to get it done. Guys, thank you so much, as always, for joining the show. Always a pleasure doing it. Nick, appreciate you. And now I'll let the audience in on a little secret that we're going to go be degenerates tomorrow at the casino, and I can't wait. So, guys... As always, thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one.